Haribo. And meeting is now live. Great. Hare Krishna. Let me start sharing now. And we got somebody in chat. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Adi loves sharing the messages, which is great. All right, so I'm going to share my screen now. After that, let's get started. Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to the next part of this series, which is Discover Yourself. In this series, what we're doing is we are discussing the different facts of self-realization. So this is a very condensed form of what Srila Prabhupada ji put together from the scriptures. And all the information shared here is from Bhagavad Gita. So today we're going to discuss the science of yoga. This is actually the last bit of this series. Then we will resume back on Bhagavad Gita chapter 6, which is on yoga as well. So that's why this is the best time to do. So we did 5 chapters in sequence, then we did this, and this is going to end in the science of yoga. And then we will go back and we will do chapter 6, which is on yoga, Dhyan yoga. And then which is the last part of Karma yoga. So Bhagavad Gita chapter 18, 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita being split into 3 different sections. First 6 called Karma yoga, yoga in action. In between from from chapter 7 till 12, they are called devotion, bhakti. And from 13 to 18, they are called jnana, knowledge, right? So action, devotion, and knowledge, which is karma, bhakti, jnana. So before we do the bhakti, we need to have all the action, how we are supposed to do the action. And then right at the end, we will summarize everything. So in this, as we said, this is all based on the teachings of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, who is the founder of ISKCON. Let's do the Mangala Charan and then we shall resume back and discuss a lot of interesting things today. This could be considered as the gist of the essence of the Bhagavad Gita, right? Let's do the Mangala Charan. Feel free to join me. Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Udapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatha Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadhvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitamsha Hare Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Patpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kancha Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashat Deshitarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gurudev ki jai, jai jai, Shri Radhe Shyam. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. So in London or in UK, this is the time of summer holidays. All the schools are shut. So a lot of families, they are traveling. So a couple of them, they were in touch. So Krishna Chaitanya, I think, is on holiday, and Ishan is definitely on holiday because the parents were in touch that they weren't able to attend. And this is what usually happens during summer holidays time. The attendance usually goes down. But we continue. However, we slow the pace a bit down. So not everybody gonna miss, but that's the reason we have the recording. And it's going live, which means that anyone could get the access and we could have a great discussion, right? If you remember, we started discussing this series where we said Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya. So Chaitanya Charitamrita is one of the Gaudiya Shastra, the scripture. So let's take a step back. We have the Vedic scriptures. So anyone who believes in Veda will believe in Bhagavad Gita. Then we have some which are called Vaishnavas. So those who believe on Vishnu to be the supreme or Krishna to be supreme, they will consider Shrimad Bhagavatam to be the supreme. So Bhagavad Gita is there, and then Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Purana is also there. So Bhagavatam is another name for Bhagavad Purana. There are 18 Puranas. Bhagavad Purana is the topmost. And then those who are in the disciple succession of Brahma, Madhva, Gaudiya, Mutt, which is certainly where ISKCON comes in, and or based on Chaitanya Mahaprabhuji. They have even higher than Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chaitanya Charitamrita is, you could consider as the biography of Chaitanya Mahaprabhuji. So Chaitanya is the name of the Lord, and then Charit is the character, and Charitamrit, like the character which is so pure, and that character, the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhuji is defined, is illustrated, described in the scripture, which is called CC, Chaitanya Charitamrita. And then in Chaitanya Charitamrita, the way I said that in Bhagavad Gita, there are 18 chapters and they are split into 3. First 6, middle 6, and the end 6. Similarly, Chaitanya Charitamrita has been split into 3 as well. And that's Adi, Madhya, and Ant. Adi is the beginning, Madhya is the middle, and Ant is the end. So the beginning, middle, and end. So where it says Madhya, that's a CC Madhya, and then that's chapter 20, verse 22. And this is Bengali. So if we see here, or we look at it, that all this bit, this verse itself is actually a Bengali. So Srila Prabhupada ji has translated that for us in English. So if we read in English, then it's the conditioned soul, which is us, cannot revive the Krishna consciousness by his own effort. Now, this is very interesting thing, and I think we did discuss this in the past, that could we do it? Do we really need Krishna? Do we really need God? And I think we were trying to discuss this. We have discussed this a lot of time, a lot of devotees, they discuss in the past that should we believe in Krishna? A lot of people, they discuss a lot of things in it. One way, if we understand a lot of people when they say, oh no, we don't believe in Krishna, reason being, then why do we need to believe in Krishna or the God? We work hard and we get everything. Isn't it true? We work hard and we get everything. Now, if you think about it, that's so true. That's so true. We believe and we get everything. But there are so many things which are not in our control. It doesn't really matter how much hard work we do. Maybe we will not get the highest marks. Right? A lot of times we see, for example, these days Olympics going on in sports. And we cannot guarantee that those who have worked hard, they are the ones going to get gold medal. Sometimes some of them, they make mistakes. They make mistakes. And based on that, they might not get it. And they have been great all through their practice, but right at the end, they made mistakes. And we were watching, so between actually America and UK, there were many competitions, but there was one on the bike. And both of them, I think they were competing for gold and silver. And first one who was supposed to take the gold made mistake. I mean, imagine in Olympics, prepared for more than 4 years, and then you fell through your bike. Oh my goodness. And then she was almost in tears. But then what happened? Her competitor, who was from States, from US, she also made mistake. So now, very first time when the gold medalist, the one who was thinking I'm going to get gold medal, she fell through and she thought, oh, I'm going to lose now because the other one is going to get it now. But she also fell down. And then in the second round, the one who was supposed to get gold medal, she did even better. And then the one who had the opportunity to do it again, the US one, she just had what we call cold feet. She started doing it and then she stopped it because there was so much pressure on her that she could not do it, because the second time, the first one did so well. But the point is, at no point they could say that because of our own effort, we did it. Right? So the gopis, the friends of Krishna in Vrindavan, they were cursing Brahma, Brahma, why did you make these islets? Because we would like to play with Krishna. All the gopas, all the gopis, all the friends of Krishna. Krishna is so beautiful. We want to play with Krishna. But these islets, they keep blinking. They disturb us. And they say, oh. And then when Krishna was leaving for Mathura, then when Akrura, his uncle, came by, then Krishna and Balram, they were leaving. Then all the friends, they were saying, oh, cloud, could you please rain so heavy that they won't able to. Those days, it happens these days as well. They recently in UK last week, there was a flood. So much rain happened that a lot of places in UK got flooded. And this will happen. So now obviously the roads are much better. The infrastructure is so good. But those days, most of the things were muddy. The roads were muddy, the house were muddy. So a lot of rain and they will stop everything. People will stop the traveling. That's the very first thing. And this is in India, this is called Chaturmas. Chatur is 4, Mas is month. There are 4 months of rainy season, monsoon they call it. And during that time, most of the people, they don't travel. Even still, it happens a lot. Whether people will travel before, people will travel afterwards, but they won't travel during that period. So, but ages ago, this used to be the norm. But during 4 months, they won't travel. And Narad Muni, whom we know, Narayan, Narayan, he used to be a little boy. He was serving, and he was so lucky that there was some, what we call Bhakti Vedanta, like those great devotees, the Brahmins, they were doing a lot of mantras, they were praying a lot to Krishna, and this little boy was serving. He was helping around all of them, and they were so happy. And they gave so many blessings to Narad Muni. That's why the next birth, he became Narad Muni. Otherwise, what we call him? Narad boy. Narad boy. So what we're saying is that we don't have full control of us, right? We do have a lot of flexibility. We do have a lot of freedom, but we are still bound by law of nature, right? We do need to understand when we see somebody clever, then we should understand that Krishna has given that. And Krishna has said that in Bhagavad Gita, that I have given the strength to the most powerful man. I've given the smartness, intelligence to the most smart and intelligent person. And if we do something good, we need to understand. We should not be puffed up. We should not think, oh, we have done it. I'm so great. I'm so cool. Kids say these days. No, we need to understand. Krishna has given all that to us. What happened to Arjun? If you know Bhagavatam, the story in Bhagavatam, Krishna, you might know Bhagavad Gita or Mahabharata. Arjun was there, and right at the end of, well, right in the beginning of Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita happens, and right at the end of the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Arjun said, I won't able to fight. I can't fight. Right? And we did discuss that. So what he said, because of compassion, I can't fight. And because of the destruction of family tradition, I can't fight. Because of the enjoyment, with whom I will enjoy. Right? And he was discussing all so many things. Then fear. So we said C, D, E, F. C for compassion, D for destruction of family tradition, because obviously so many fathers will die. Who is going to give the family tradition to the kids who are at home? Then he said, if all my relatives will die, with whom I will enjoy the kingdom, I will win. And then fear, that I will get the sinful reaction of killing all these. So he was fearful. And he left. He said, I can't fight. And then Krishna gave him the knowledge, the wisdom. But then having that knowledge, obviously his teacher was there who has given all the knowledge, what we call all the technical knowledge, how to use the weapons, but all the moral values, how to make the decisions, the power, how to compose himself, self-confidence was given by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. And if we read those words of wisdom, we get all that as well, right? But what happens? Arjun killed so many. There was so little at the front of the other army because they were massive. But still, Arjun won over. What happened afterwards? When Krishna was leaving, Krishna said to Arjun, could you please take all my queens with you and drop them at some place? And while Arjun was taking all the queens of Krishna, the local villagers came by with a stick and they defeated Arjun. Can you imagine? Nobody could defeat Arjun. Bhishma Pitama. He was one of those warriors nobody could defeat. Even his own teacher could not defeat him. But Arjun defeated him. But later, when Krishna was not with him, then even those villagers with the wooden stick, he had everything. He still had the knowledge. He still had the bow and arrow. It wasn't lost, but he could not. So what we learn from it, when Arjun reached back to Hastinapur, that's where his elder brother Yudhishthir asked. Yudhishthir said, Arjun, why your body is like this? Why are you crying? What happened? And he gives a lot of reasons. Is that happened? That happened? That happened? What has happened? Because Arjun couldn't say a word. And then Arjun said that Krishna has left us. And because Krishna has left us, now we understand all those great things we did, they were not by us. They were because of Krishna, because of the association of Krishna. And as a devotee, this is what we need to learn. That if Krishna is there with us, we can manage everything. But if Krishna is not with us, then we can't. Remember the analogy where we had, where we said if we have four wheels in the car, which usually we have, and then one of the tire gets punctured, what do? We have a spare inside and we get that, right? So what are those four wheels? Those four wheels, one is our family, immediate family. So that could be mother, father, husband, wife, kids, all of that, right? One is our social circle. Social circle is where we go to where we have friends around. Maybe we play tennis with them. We go for holiday with them, right? And then we have work, where we go to the work. They might not be our friends, but they are our colleagues. We go and work with them, or working from home these days. And then we have the fourth one, which is ourselves. Me, my body, my mind, right? And body, mind, and soul. But that's me, right? If nobody is there, I'm still there. So me, myself, my family, my social circle, then my office circle, these are the four wheels of my life. If any one of them gets punctured, if somebody lost the job, somebody lost the family member, somebody lost his or her own health, or maybe a friend is in trouble, if any of those four tires get punctured, if any of those four circles we have, they get penetrated by any of the disasters, then what happened? Then we go and pray to the God. Isn't that happened? Recently, some of our friends being in touch because of COVID, they lost their friends. So they said, could you pray for our relatives? Well, why only now? Because that's what people do. And that's what we call that the spare tire is like that. That spirituality, the Lord is always there in the boot, and we only take him out when we need him. But it should not be like that. The spirituality should be like the steering wheel, right? So steering wheel is the one which is steer. So we want to take our car left, right, front, or back. Which direction? What do we want to do? Do we want to play chess like Adi? Do we want to play cricket like Aryan? Or do we want to do dance like Shivani? Or maybe Devika likes dancing. So what do we want to do? Whatever we do, that spirituality is there. What kind of dance? Or why do we want to learn martial arts? To fight with others, or to defend ourselves, to keep us fit, so we can do a lot of devotional service. So if we keep Krishna in the middle, spirituality as the steering wheel, all other four wheels will be in control wherever we will go. We will take them with us. Our friends will be devotees. In our office, we will mingle with those who are more spiritual. Of course, we will be spiritual. Our relatives will be spiritual. We try. But this is what we're saying, that if we keep that way, then we understand that we are dependent on Krishna. And we all are. If I will come to America, like I went to Dubai, they drive on the other side. Now I can't go and say there that I'm used to of driving on the right hand side. I have to go on the left because I have to follow the law of the land. Similar thing, if you think about that, wherever we are, if we are in material world, we have to follow the material laws. We all are bound by them, isn't it? We cannot stop our heart for a minute or 2 minutes. We cannot. We cannot say to our kidney or liver, oh, why don't you take a day off for a couple of days? Because you've been working very hard over the weekend while I was enjoying or doing the party for various things. We can't. And that's why it meant that we are so much dependent on these things. In Bhagavatam, it says that each and every organ, like nose, eyes, ears, tongue, heart, they have their own deities. And what are deities? Sorry, deities, demigods. What are demigods? Demigods are like Vayudev, the god of air, god of water, Jaldev, then Indra is there, and Kuber is there. So all of them, each one of them is responsible for one of our senses. And there are lots of them in the body. There are separate ones for the hand, separate one for the leg, separate one for the belly. There are so many of them. Without them, these things will not work. This is why it says in Bhagavatam. So we all are dependent on them, on their energy, and they all are working on behalf of Krishna, right? But what we need to do, And this verse says subject matter of Vedas. What is subject matter? Subject matter means that what is all Bhagavad Gita about? So now we say we all are Hindus. Anybody will say, oh, right, you are Hindu. So you have Bhagavad Gita, we heard. What does it say? Now you might think, oh, there are 18 chapters, there are 700 verses. Prabhuji said that there are first 6 on karma, middle one on devotion, last one on jnana, knowledge. What shall I say to this person? What shall I say? And that's where this slide comes into picture. This slide says 3 things. And if I can, let me try this. So these are three different ways. So it says very first one, Bhagwan, right? It's called Sambandha, which is relationship. That what does Bhagavad Gita says? Bhagavad Gita tells us that who is Bhagwan and what is our relationship with Bhagwan, the God, the Lord. And then Bhakti. Bhakti is the process to get the goal. And what is the goal? Goal is, it says Krishna Prema. And if it say, it tells us the relationship. It tells us the result. Why do we maintain that relationship? What will happen? And then it tells us the process to maintain that relationship. That's it. So we need to understand who is Krishna. We need to know what the relationship with Krishna, and we need to understand how to maintain that relationship. And then maybe it's always good to know what will happen at the end of that relationship. At the end of the relationship means once we able to establish that relationship, what will happen? Right? So there was another example. There was one king who had a son, and then son was going on a fast car and fell off from the cliff because boys are naughty. And the guy fell off. He hurt on his head. And then when he got up in Hollywood style, he said, who am I? Where am I? And then the doctor said, don't you remember you? I said, no, I don't remember me. I don't know, who am I? He said, all right, I don't know who you are either. Then the guy said, okay, never mind. The doctor worked on him. He got sorted. He came out of the hospital. And then he found a job somewhere because obviously he needed food to eat. He started doing whatever he could. And then he was working for someone. And then king found out that his son is there, but his son doesn't remember him anymore. So the king sent his messenger. King said, okay, go and tell him he's my son. And then he went there. And that guy said, well, I don't remember. Sorry, don't you come to me. I don't remember my father or anyone. I'm just working here. Let me work. Don't disturb me. Because if you disturb me, I won't work here. I won't get the money. I won't be able to eat. Please go. And then the king's messenger came back. Well, your son is not ready to listen. And the king said, okay, where is he working? He said, oh, he's working at that merchant, that shop. He said, okay, tell the shop this is my son and take good care of him. And of course, the shopkeeper knew that this is king. And then when king said that this is my son, then shopkeeper said, of course, I will take good care of him, right? And then one day, maybe that boy will remember his relationship with his father. And when he will remember the relationship, what will he do? He will go back. And that's the result. That's the result of knowing the relationship. What will he do? So he will go back. And this is what happens with all of us. We were there with Krishna. We fell down here in material world. We are doing whatever we are doing. And Krishna sends his messengers. So many acharyas. Srila Prabhupada ji, the founder acharya. And he's a spiritual master. And many gurus after that. The holy man. They come around and they tell us, well, Krishna is your father. And we say, okay, Krishna might be our father, but let me just do my work here. I'm too busy. Let me do this. And later we will think about Krishna. And hopefully one day we will. However, we should not wait. Well, that prince, that boy, he doesn't need to work anywhere. He could just work for his own son. Well, if you think about it, he was indirectly working for his son. Because that merchant, that shopkeeper, was actually working for the king. He was paying taxes to the king. So this is where we are. And that's where we say that if we understand these three things, relationship with the God, the process, how to maintain that, and then what will happen after we have properly maintained that relationship. In one sentence, this is what our scriptures telling us. So if somebody will ask, what is Bhagavad Gita? What's the message of Bhagavad Gita? The Bhagavad Gita will reestablish the knowledge, wisdom in Bhagavad Gita will reestablish or reinstate our relationship with the Lord. And it will give us the process, how to do it, and what will happen once you're able to maintain or reinstate that relationship. That's it. That's it. There are so many different philosophies on that. And there are three main temples in Vrindavan. Of course, if you go to there are different places there. If you go different places, we figure out what is there. So Shri Radha Madan Mohan temple is there. And there are so many beautiful temples in Vrindavan. If you haven't been to Vrindavan already, I will certainly request you to make a visit. Whenever you get the chance, please go to Vrindavan, visit these places. So there were 6 Goswamis, which are Goswami. The word itself, Goswami. Swami is the owner. Go, senses. So the senses of the owner. Owner of the senses. What do you mean owner of the senses? Well, somebody who is in control of his or her senses is called Goswami. So it's a what we call placeholder. It's like a post. It's like a recognition. So somebody might say, I'm a chartered engineer, registered here in London. So anybody could become chartered engineer if the person is qualified enough, experienced enough. Somebody is prime minister, somebody is president, and somebody is Goswami. So based on your characteristics, you get this title of Goswami. So there are 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. Why they are called Goswamis? Because they all had control of their senses. And why they are Goswamis of Vrindavan? Because they are the ones who helped to establish Vrindavan's deities, the main temples of Vrindavan. Why? Because a lot of history, if you read in India, around 800 to 1,000 years of history, when Arabs came, then Britishers came. So a lot of temples were destroyed. But these, around 400 years back, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhuji came, and these 6 Goswamis came, and one of them was Rupa Goswamiji, right? And then Sanatan Goswamiji. So there are many more, Jiva Goswamiji, but they put together these temples. So Madan Mohan temple is one of the very favorite, very famous, very old temple, if you get the time, and this is the deity. Then we have Radha Govindji. We have these temples as well, right? So next time when you will go, try to establish, and you know the deity, this is what we call a deity, the idol, the statue of Krishna, Radhaji. These, they were found by these. So nobody made these. They were there. Somebody found them. Who found them? So these Goswamis, they found it. Sanatan Goswami ji, Jiva Goswami ji, Rupa Goswami ji, Raghunath Bhatt Goswami ji, they found these. And if we read more, we will learn so much about it. Now, science of yoga, this is what we've been doing, and that's where the philosophical part comes in, right? Any question or anything we have been discussing so far? Okay, well, you said 6 Goswamijis of Vrindavan. So I will give you the name. There is actually a book as well on this, 6 Goswamijis of Vrindavan. But, and there is a PDF as well if you want to find that out. But if you just say 6 Goswamijis of Vrindavan in Google, we will get that. But otherwise, I will just share the link in the chat if you like to have more information on it. I will share here and I will share on YouTube as well. So you have it with you if you like to read more. And we should all read. We should all read. What do we read? We read a lot about Olympic champions. Somebody said, oh, they are from Manchester, where Tanmay is from. Or there was somebody else who was from Sheffield, where I spent some good time, which is next to Manchester, not far from Manchester. Right? Similarly, somebody will say, oh, who are your ancestors? Well, we know our father, our grandfather, both sides, mom and dad. But spiritually, these are our ancestors. If we are Vaishnavas, then we need to know these 6 Goswamiji, they have put together everything. Right? I've shared the link there, but Rupa Goswamiji, Sanatan Goswamiji, Bhatta Raghunath Goswamiji, then Jiva Goswamiji, who is the cousin, he's the nephew of Rupa and Sanatan. Rupa and Sanatan, they are brother. Sanatan Goswamiji is elder, Rupa is younger, then Jiva is the nephew, and then Gopal Bhatta and Dasa Raghunath Bhatta. So about 3, very easy to remember: Rupa, Sanatan, and Jiva. And then we have Bhatta, Gopal Bhatta, and Dasa Raghunath. So they are a bit, all 3, they have double meanings, double names in there. Nice link, Adi says. Thank you, Adi. Read these, Adi, and they have many documentaries, very interesting dramas. So you can enjoy those dramas there on YouTube. On these, if you just put any of those names. From Mumbai, a lot of drama has been put together, and a lot of times we enjoy. Similar thing on Madhvacharya, if you want to see. There was another documentary we watched on Madhvacharya ji. And if I can quickly get that. Madhvacharya ji. Oh, there is a movie as well. We saw, oh, that's in a different language, I guess. Oh yeah, there are lots of them. There are lots of them. There's an animation as well. But yeah, there is a warrior monk. This is the one. So if I share that, and it's interesting. It hopefully, if you watch them, if you read about them, then we will get a lot more excited about our own religion, which is Sanatan Dharma, Vedic Dharma. And we should. When we read about these, there was an example. So I was in Dubai with my wife, or with the whole family. But then my wife is a big fan of Shah Rukh Khan, who is one of the biggest super hit Bollywood star actor. And she said, oh, he's there. So many years back, he's coming to this place. Let's go and meet him in a sense. We will just go and see him. And we went there, and I was right. So I'm not a big fan. So I was right at the back, and we were on the first floor, and he was there on the ground floor, and we could just see him right at the front of us. And then very soon it got crowded. But then there was somebody else. Dubai is a very metropolitan city, so there were many people. So there was somebody who didn't know Shah Rukh Khan, and so I was at the back. So she came to me and she said, "So what's happening here?" I said, "Oh well, this actor came through." And she said, "Oh, is he good?" Then I said, "Well, yeah, he has given many super hit movies. He's very famous, as you can see. People are crazy for him." And then she said, "Oh, let me take a picture." And I thought about it. I thought, wow, like 5 or 10 minutes back, she didn't even know this person, Shah Rukh Khan. And now what she has heard about me, from me, what she has heard about Shah Rukh Khan, she's ready to take a picture. And she said, oh, she actually said, okay, let me take my mobile. And she did a bit of quick search on his name. And she said, wow, he is famous. And then she said, I will take the picture. And then I thought about it. And I thought, wow, if I knew, I should have mentioned her about Krishna. So rather than searching on him, she would have searched on Krishna. And then maybe she would have interested in Krishna. But another lesson learned that day was we really get excited to know more about someone when we hear about someone or if we read about someone. Right? So it's really great that you guys come around and you listen, but ask a lot of questions. And I know some of you do ask in the chat, like Adi always send me direct messages, which is great. But watch a little, read good books about these. Because remember, this knowledge has been there for at least 5,000 years. It was there even before that. Chapter 4, first 4 verses explains that. But at least 5,000 years we could guarantee, because the proofs are there. Archaeological proofs are there. Carbon dating has been happened. That 5,000 years back, and Krishna was there 5,000 years back when Krishna was leaving, then we could say that 5,000 years, no other scripture is as old that. And all this knowledge is still valid. Now, if we think about what we are learning in history, one day we will drop out. Why? Well, anyways, these days also, we have ancient history, then we have middle history, and then we have modern history. A lot of times we don't read ancient history because we are just interested in modern history. This is what schools are doing. And very soon, because history will be so much, we will drop out an ancient history, well, unless you are really interested and you are doing that course. So not everyone will do ancient history. People will be just doing modern history because only those histories are relevant. Similar thing, if you think about, if you are looking for the invention in science, we are not checking everything in science. We are only checking the relevant information or the modern science. So what will happen? Things are getting lost because the newer versions are coming. Same things happen in the video games, in mobiles. The latest comes, latest and greatest. We forget about old. But wisdom in Bhagavad Gita, there must be something great about it. 5,000 years back, 5,000 years back, and is still valid till today. And it will always be there. It will always be there. So there got to be something in it. Anything else we are learning, this will go. And if we will not able to self-realize this birth, the next birth, we will have to start all the material qualification from the scratch, A, B, C, D. But anything is spiritual, Krishna says, never get lost. And that's the reason we see some of the kids, when they get born in aristocratic family, in Brahminical family, in the royal family. And somebody might, based on their previous karma, might fall in a very poor family. Now, if somebody will get birth in poor family, then it's a bit unfortunate. Why? Because if you think about it, then that boy or girl, that child will not have enough resources to get into spirituality, because most of the time the child must be figuring out how to make the necessary demands meet. Like what we said, food, shelter, that's it. For somebody maybe in the royal family, they have all the resources available. Not only they could spread the word of Krishna, they could follow, they could spread it as well. And they have so much influence on many others. But that doesn't mean that everybody who is royal or got the birth in Brahminical family or aristocratic family, they are going to do everything good. No. And many from the poor family, they are going to do great as well. Because remember another analogy we said, there are 4, and this is again explained in Bhagavad Gita, there are 4 different types of people. So there are one who are coming from darkness and they're running toward darkness. These are the people who did bad in their previous life and they're doing bad now. So their future will be bad, dark. And there are some who are coming from the darkness, but they are going toward brightness, which means in the past they did something wrong. So currently they are struggling, but still they have realized what they are supposed to do, which means in future they will definitely have a bright. And even now we could see that they are really, really working hard, working very hard despite all the odds. And then there are third one who's coming from the brightness, because in the past the person did very nice things, and that's why this time they got so many resources. But if the person is not making the good use of resources, then that person is coming from the brightness but going towards darkness. But the fourth one, and we could be that, we all are fortunate. Why we are fortunate? How do we know we are fortunate? Because we could hear Krishna Katha. We could hear the stories of Krishna. We could discuss the pastime of Krishna. Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, only the fortunate ones, they get the chance to hear this. So there is no doubt that all of us, whoever listening this, whoever speaking this, we are very fortunate. But if we will keep listening to the wisdom, if we will implement that wisdom in Vedas, the Vedic wisdom, if we implement it, which means if we utilize it, if we spend our day keeping Krishna in the center, keeping the words of Krishna in the center, when we will make the decisions in life, we think about the suggestions Krishna has given to Arjun. If we do that, then not only that we did good in past, so we are coming from brightness, from the light, but our future will be great as well, because in the current time, we are discussing the eternal wisdom, the wisdom which was there 5,000 years back, right? Wisdom which will be later as well. And there are so many nice books by Srila Prabhupada. If you haven't already checked it, they're very small books as well. And there is one book, Chant and Be Happy. There is one book, Introduction to Krishna Consciousness. There is another one, and that was actually the very first book I read from Srila Prabhupada. I was a little boy then. And that book is, well, I say little boy. Compared to now, I guess I was a little boy. I don't remember how old, but that book is perfect questions and perfect answers. I didn't know Srila Prabhupada then. Perfect questions, perfect answers. And that book is there. And if you read that book, a lot of information has been given. It's in the form of stories. And you can get those books. These books are available. You can buy them or you can read it online. It's there on Amazon. It's there on another link I've just shared. Make good use of your time in summer holidays. Read these books. The wisdom given here, this is eternal. And this is going to change our life. How? Based on our decisions. Based on our decision. It says the way we are making decisions, or the decisions we make now in present, is going to determine what kind of future we will have. So make your decisions very wisely. Very, very, very wisely. Right? If any questions, any comments on anything, either here on Zoom or on YouTube, please let me know. All right, so Shivani is here with me, Shivani and Aaron. Now what it says, so maybe this is the last thing we discuss, and then we will come back and we will resume from here. But think about what we have discussed so far. The recording is also there, and I will share that link as well in the chat. So if in case you want, you can have it. This, hopefully you have the PowerPoint with you, but if in case you want PowerPoint, let me know. I can share the PowerPoint with you. Read this, discuss with your parents, discuss with your family. and then ask questions. Ask questions from your friends, from your parents. When you come back, ask me. We have a WhatsApp group. Your parents might be there in WhatsApp group. Ask questions there throughout the week. You don't really have to wait for Sunday evening session or Sunday morning session for the Vision Viveka to have to ask questions. Ask question anytime. At your age, even at my age, I'm not that old, but at your age, you should definitely be curious about world. Definitely about spirituality. Don't take anything just because somebody has said it. Ask why. And then try to understand. You might not understand everything. For example, if you are in class 7 or class 5, grade 5, year 5, and somebody will give you the syllabus of year 10. Well, of course, you won't understand everything. You might understand a few things, but you won't understand everything. What will happen then? Then you have to wait, right? But that you will not stop reading. You will not stop learning. You will not stop studying. What will you do? You will study more and more and more. And one day, slowly, gradually, you will understand everything. So based on where we are, what our previous or current knowledge is, we will understand a bit. But definitely continue going for it. Right? So what this says in Bhagavad Gita chapter 6:46, and as I said, this is what we are going to discuss. So this is what people do. They do the meditation and they think this is the way. Right? They definitely think this is the way. There are many in Bhagavatam. There are many examples of many rishi, munis, sages. They went and they did a great penance, austerities. But what Bhagavad Gita chapter 6, shloka 46 says, Krishna says, become greater yogi. So Krishna says, yogi. Krishna says, compared to a lot of Brahmins, one yogi is better. So if you have a lot of great Brahmins, compared to that, a great yogi is much more dearer to me. But then what kind of yogi? Because there are different types of. Then it says, become greater yogi, then tapasvi. Tapasvi is somebody who is doing austerity. So this is austerity, leaving food and all, going into the jungle or inside the cave or somewhere. Jnani, somebody who keeps learning. So there are many learned Brahmins there. They all are jnanis. A lot of self-realization there. Karmis, those who say, oh, I do good karma. A lot of time people say, oh, well, I'm spiritual. I'm okay. I do a bit of charity and I do good to everyone. I don't think bad about anyone. I'm good. I do good karma. They fall into that. But what are we saying? So the words is like that. Tapasvi. Oh, this is Sanskrit. So this is tapasvi. This is the jnani. Right? This is bhayo. Bhayo is like B. Karma. So rather than these three yogis, they are called karma yogi, jnana yogi, tapasvi is dhyana yogi. Rather than then, it says tasmad yogi bhava Arjuna. So I'm saying this to Arjuna. Adi, I'm drawing. So if you see, I have a pointer with me, and what I'm saying, I'm trying to make a mark so you could follow where we are, right? So this is the last one. It says austere person. This Gyan is knowledgeable person. Karma is a working person, somebody who keeps saying, a lot of people say, work is my religion. My work is my religion. But what Krishna says here, become a yogi. But what kind of yogi? What kind of yogi? We will discuss next session. Okay, next section we will discuss what kind of yogi Krishna says. What kind of yogi is he referring to? This will be the next thing we will discuss next class. What kind of yogi Krishna says. And if from chapter 6, this is 646, if you have Bhagavad Gita, then go through it, find out and we shall discuss it. So Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, and right at the end, you will figure out. I'm leaving another, I'm in the blue one. Who's doing blue one? I don't know who's doing the blue one, Ati. Okay, I've given the Bhagavad Gita link as well, chapter 6. Get the chance, read it. Or you can just put Bhagavad Gita chapter 6 in YouTube. You can listen to it as well, right? You can listen to it and it will read everything for you. You know, these days you don't really have to read. The audios are there and audios will read for you. And if I can find the audio now, there are many. Okay, I got one. This says the Sanskrit recitation. So if I share that with you, this will have Sanskrit and hopefully English in it. But I'm sure there are many more other verses as well, which you can check. So the links are there if in case you need it. All right, great. So if any questions, as I said, please let me know now or later, or please think about it, ask questions. These are the things, as I said, we will get into all of these sooner or later. We do a lot of austerity. So Tanmay has already given 11 plus exam, and that was a lot of hard work, and that's part of the austerity. Then knowledgeable, of course, Tanmay and Adi both are very knowledgeable students. A working person. So after achieving a great degree from a great university, when you will start working, you will be called working person, or sometimes we work at home. Then also we are called working people. But Krishna is saying, become a yogi, better than all that. So whatever we are trying to get, we say, become better than that and become a yogi. And we will see what that refers to. Okay, Adi, I'm not sure. I don't see any blue. I got red and green. I haven't used the blue one yet. So I'm not sure which one you refer to, but that's okay. So with that, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gurudev Maharaj ki jai, Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to Guru and Gauranga. Now I see the blue one, Adi. Somebody very mischievous must be doing it. And we know who is that. All right, with that, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Take good care of yourself, and I look forward to